Namaskar, parents. Parents, this video that I'm making, I have been wanting to make this for a very long time. And whatever I'm sharing with you in this video, it is completely my own thought process, right? Whatever I have learned while working with these children, I'm sharing with you. Okay? It is a very personal thought that I'm trying to share with you. Right? Certain things that you should and you should not do with a child who's suffering from autism. This is what I want to share in this video. See, the first thing, number one, most important, do not judge them. Firstly, you and I, the so called neurotypical individuals, we have no idea what a child of autism is going through. We have no idea how their brain functions, why they are behaving in a particular way. So please do not judge them. There are certain behaviors, there are repetitive behaviors, there are sensory issues, there are stimming behaviors. They are very troublesome for the child as well as for the caretaker and the people around them. But always try to understand what is the child's perspective behind it, why the child is doing it. If the child is shouting or he's jumping or he's mouthing or he's hitting or he's pinching or he's doing any form of stimming repetitive behavior, understand that it is a call for help. The child is himself in a lot of discomfort. The child is not able to communicate exactly what is the problem, and that is why he is behaving in a particular way. Right? They themselves are in trouble. That is why they are behaving in a particular way. Always understand the child's perspective. You will not lose your cool. You will understand what the child is going through and you will be more patient. Right? So the first thing is never ever judge them. Okay. Number two, as I said, try to understand the child's perspective. Try to understand why that child is behaving in a particular way. So number two is empathize with that child. What is empathy? Empathy is not feeling sorry for the child. No, that is not empathy. Empathy is unconditional acceptance of that child. At the same time, you work to ensure growth of that child. It is not that, okay, I will let the child sit in my class, no problem. I will not only let the child sit in my class, I will do whatever it takes to bring about some improvement in this child, to make this child's life better. That is empathy. You and we as parents have brought that child into this world. He has not himself come into this world, and this problem that he is suffering from is God given. It is, the child is not to blame for it. The least we can do is unconditionally love that child, unconditionally have patience with that child. And that means to be empathetic towards that child. And let me tell you, empathy just doesn't come like that. No, it doesn't. Even for a mother can sympathize, but it is very difficult to empathize. Empathize takes years of practice. So start today. It takes years of practice to be able to love a child and unconditionally accept him when he's hitting you and he's pinching you and he's trying to pull your hair and you're trying to make him sit and he's kicking you and trying to run away. It takes a lot of practice to empathize with such a child. How do you start? You start by lowering your standards. I know when a new child, for the first time the child comes into therapy, I know they will not sit. They will not cooperate. At times, they keep trying to run away, hit, push. Throughout the session, it keeps going on. Fine, he's a new child, new place, new people. What do? I lower my standards. I don't expect that child to sit for the entire session properly and do activities. Even if one activity of 10 minutes that child does properly, my task for that day is done. Fine. Slowly, 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 I'll keep working on him and improving his ways. Right? So, in order to love such a child, in order to be able to patiently work with such a child, you have to empathize and you have to lower your standards. Be realistic, right? So, my second advice is empathize. Number 3, always understand that your child models what he sees, they copy what they see. Even the emotions, if you hit them, it is just a matter of time that they will also start hitting you back. If you are impatient with them, if you are projecting any type of negative emotion on them for a long period of time, it will come back to you. So while you work with your child, be very patient, be very comfortable, and then work with them. I always say this, God has sent these children in His own image. Will you hit God? No. No, na? Will you get angry at God? Maybe for a small period of time. But later you'll revive back, isn't it? So, always remember, what you want them to learn is how you should behave with them. While working with them, be patient, be comfortable, be happy. Do not in any way project your negative emotions on the child, right? So my number 3 is they learn, they model what they see, and along with that, be extremely comfortable with yourself before working with your child, right? Number 4, lot of their behaviors, their sensory behaviors, self-harming behaviors, the child tends to, when angry or when not able to express, the child bites himself, or he hits himself, or he hits like this, or he tends to grab or pinch somebody who's sitting in the front, or pull the hair. So there are certain self-harming as well as behaviors where they harm others. See, always understand these behaviors the child does because he is not able to emotionally regulate himself. In order to regulate his emotions, he is doing these behaviors. So always at home have certain equipment or strategies ready to help your child when he is not able to emotionally regulate. For example, if he's doing a lot of self-harming or hitting someone else, you should have a boxing bag at home. Come on, go. Hit it 50 times and come back. 50, then they are not even able to hit it 20 times. It is so tiring. It expels out all their energy. All that excess emotional dysregulation gets a vent, right? Certain children, when they are irritable or they are angry, this is ready every day in our center. At least 10 baskets of different textures are ready. The child is very dysregulated, come on, one texture, second texture. At least 20 minutes the child is playing with different textures. They settle down, they calm down. The child is very hyper, he's not able to sit, he's shouting. Okay, come on. 4 times up and down the stairs. It tires them out. It gives a vent to their extra energy and their negative emotions. So have something available. Always understand that these harming behaviors are for emotional regulation mostly, right? Number 5, adapt your house to suit your child. See, as I said, you and I have no idea what this child is going through. Their difficulties are very different from yours and mine. There can be many things at home which is very disturbing to the child, things that we do not even notice. For example, smell of the agarbatti. For example, we make ghee. That smell may be very disturbing to that child. A particular type of light, a particular texture of the curtain may be very disturbing for your child. So, if something is very difficult for them, try to make it easy. If your child doesn't like agarbatti smell, forget it. Do not put the agarbatti on. If your child doesn't like a particular texture, please do not force him to deal with it. Make life easy for them. Right? Certain behaviors, see, you have to understand. They have certain fears. And it is not necessary to address all their fears. They have certain obsessions. And it is not necessary to address every obsession. No, it is not. I have a girl in class who is very scared of thermocol balls. Simple, plain, small thermocol balls. So whenever we do the blowing exercise, we have that bottle with a lot of thermocol balls. She just starts shouting. So now we know that this child is scared of this. We do not do blowing with her using that equipment. Move it away. It's okay. There's another child who just doesn't like to put his hand in mud somehow. He doesn't mind atta, he doesn't mind wet clay, he doesn't mind sticky objects. Everything is okay, but mud, he just hates. It's okay. What will happen if the child doesn't put his hand in mud? It's okay, na? Nothing is being stopped. I have a child who has this obsession of wherever he sees grass, he has to remove his shoes and he has to walk on it. So let him walk, na. Why you want to change it? That child has the judgment that he has to wear shoes while he's out of the house, in the playground, on the road. He knows it. But he likes that texture of grass. Let him walk barefoot on it, na. It is comforting to him. I have a child who will, whenever he crosses the door, he will go and knock 1, 2, 3. 3 times on the door, and then he'll come back and sit and do whatever you tell him to. So let him do it, na. Every fear and every obsession, you have to understand. If that fear or that obsession is not hindering the child's functioning and learning, it is okay. It is absolutely okay. It is just, so always try to make things easy for them. Do not make things more and more and more difficult for them, right? Number 6, please understand that food plays an extremely important role in their behaviors. So a child with autism, for that matter, any child should, even my own children, they should not be given sweets. They should not be given things made out of maida, that is refined wheat, and the packaged and processed food like chips and biscuits and chocolates. No. It affects their mood, it affects their hyperactivity, it affects their gut, right? So no sweets in no form. Honey, jaggery, brown, nothing. Avoid it as much as you can. No refined wheat and no packaged processed food. Number 7, make sure that you give your child at least half an hour to 40 minutes of some gross motor physical exercise, wherein they should sweat. Their energy, they are very energetic. That energy has to be provided a vent. So do it for them. Any form of exercise, may it be swimming, may it be running, may it be climbing stairs, may it be engaging in a particular sports, but at least 30 to 40 minutes of physical exertion is a must. And lastly, I'm not saying this for all children, but for children, what I'm trying to say here, the last point, the eighth point that I'm trying to say is, understand your child's sensory needs and sensory dislikes. And if your child is not comfortable in a particular area, do not force him into it. Going to the market, going to the school, going to the theater, any place where there are a lot of people, there is a lot of sound, can be very traumatizing to these children. I'm not saying that you don't take them there. You do. But let the exposure be small and short. You cannot just suddenly take your child and put him somewhere without preparing him for that. If you have and you're planning that in the next 6 months I have to put my child in school, prepare him from today. There is a lot of sensory overload. You have to prepare him to deal with it. You have to give him small exposures. You have to prepare him, you have to massage them, you have to give them deep compression in order for them to be able to accept those social situations. In order for them to be comfortable and balanced to be able to tolerate those social situations. So prepare them. Do not just ad hoc put them in a new situation. It is extremely traumatizing for them. Right? So always prepare them for a situation. Always. How you will prepare? By giving them small exposures. Before exposing them, giving them the routine of the massage and the deep compression and the exercise. And slowly increasing the exposure. Not flooding them with it. No. Right, parents? So, always I say this to all my mothers and my teachers also. When every day you are working with these children, there are times we tend to lose our cool, we tend to get angry, it happens. But always see from the child's perspective. Always. That why? What is the problem? Is the child himself distressed? Is this a call for help? And 80% of the time you will find that the answer is yes. The child is demanding your help. Right? So, work comfortably with your child, empathize with your child. Do not judge them. They are not manipulative. They are in their own issues and difficulties which are very different from us. Very, very different. Right? So parents just wanted to tell you this so that you can have a better understanding of why your child behaves in a particular way. And there are ways to tackle all these behaviors. But yes, it is a slow process and it takes a lot of consistent, patient effort. Right, parents? So, do implement these steps in your day-to-day life and try to make this world more beautiful and more comfortable for our children. Like our video, subscribe to our channel, share this video, and let the Shakti spread. Vijay Bhava, Tatha Astu, Namaskar.